Ladies and gentlemen, greetings. How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, for music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
the station for you is
OTR.
Sounds like we have a bad connection on the jingle singers there, but we'll see what's happening when Bozo Control is involved. You just never know. One thing we do know is we are up at the YouTube video. We are streaming live at oldtuberadio.net and at 27085. We've got loads of Skipland, but hopefully your tube radios, and we are listening.
Make you feel satisfied. Take here, 88. Take here, Ice Cream Man. Cool change. Got down.
And the break OTR. Go ahead, please.
641, checking in, Dennis.
All right, sounding good. Through the noise we have tonight on Channel 11, SWL 61. Dean, we are putting the X in the square and getting you checked in. Thanks for listening.
No, you got vanilla, man. He's the Ice Cream Man, Uncle 88. He's the Ice Cream Man. Stop a while passing by, because he's the Ice Cream Man. Stop a while he's passing by. He's got all kinds of flavor to make you feel satisfied. 88, just...
And we're selling ice cream tonight, so check in your Tube Radio and have a bowl of ice cream on the old Tube Radio Network. We are listening for your radio check-ins.
Hey, Ice Cream Man says you can't handle his ice cream. Hey, Ice Cream Man, you put a smile on my face. Take it, 88, cool change, quiet. Looks like the old Mother Nature running out on us around Honolulu. Looks like the old Mother Nature running out around Honolulu. Mr. Big Shot, Mr. B.I.G. Shot around here. He's back live.
All right, there is somebody trying to check in, and the audio is extremely low.
25.
Something ending in 5?
Roger.
All right, who is this again? I got there's something ending in 5.
All right there, Big M. I heard you calling me again. I know Big Shot's talking to 88. I don't want to criss, that cross. But tell her, Big Shot, I said...
Yeah, we'll talk around the skip. The audio is just is low, so give it a shot.
Yeah. Roger there, 137, right back. Hey, hopefully everything's going well and swell your way. Hopefully the pretty ones are doing okay. And you have a great Father's Day your way, 137. Cool change out here on a beautiful garden now. Back in the clear. Aloha.
All right, who is trying to check into OTR? Let's try it again.
And that thing be sounding good, man. That station be sounding...
Okay, I'll be right back. I'm going to make a technical adjustment, leaving the audio chair. But we will be back in a moment here on the old Tube Radio Network. Take your check-ins.
Did you say 7171? Right back, 71. Take care, man. You sounding good? 71, man. The traffic's mean. I need a traffic director out here. Take care, 71. Cool change with that wave. Right back. Got down. And that Roger. Have a great Father's Day coming your way. Cool change is clear.
And we've got some good conditions for DX, so we ought to have some good conditions for local stuff. And maybe a little bit of the E-Skip as well tonight. OTR is listening.
Trees too, though. Hey, Modflap. Hey, Reverend Dr. Tater. Hey, worldwide Reverend Dr. Tater. Worldwide Reverend Dr. Tater. Cool change. You must got that ground plane way high up in the trees. Cool change got down.
Yeah, the break for OTR. Go ahead, over.
And that Roger, and you the Reverend Dr. Tater, like I always say. Hey, Mudflap, you is the Reverend Dr. Tater of Tater Town. Take care, all right, Mudflap. I'm sorry if I'm only in your receive, but man, if you got a problem with that, just take it to the Golden Goose. But it ain't my fault. Just go get Aflac. Take care, all right, Mudflap. Cool change is clear.
All right, I hear 650 in Coarse Gold, but of course the mini grass is making it rough over.
Hello, Trail, cool change. Mr. Trailblazer in Mississippi. You need some love. Hey, you gonna talk to your switchblade. Hey, take care. Hey, Trailblazer. Change is clear.
All right, did you want me to check someone in? Over. Yeah, I got, looks like I've got a proxy for 360, over.
And that Roger, well, man,
Okay, that's weird. It's almost like we have skip conditions coming from Coarse Gold, the way the signal's fluttering, and that's amazing. But yet stations that are thousands of miles away will come in 20 over. You got to love RF on your radio.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I hear you in there. It's just the audio is real rough to copy through the skip at the moment.
And just Trailblazer. Well, I work in this no-name technology, no-name build.
Yeah, I have a feeling that conditions will change as the gray line changes for us, so we might have some better conditions. Might have some of the E-skip. Sometimes it's a lot easier to hear the stations. In the meantime, it's glow-in-the-dark radio time. I am listening for any and all check-ins, and especially those of the vintage radio variety, which is what we do best here at the Old Tube Radio Network, and what you do best with your collections and tube radio displays. So we'll be standing by for that here at Old Tube Radio Network.
25.
Like that guy there, 25, who is stepping up to the big platform and saying he doesn't care if the mini grass has 300 watts or 3,000 watts at the Pacific Ocean. He's in Madera Heights, and he's on his way. Hello, Jerry.
Hello, Dennis. Yeah, I tried to check in on the MC5, but I guess it didn't have the proof that Browning does, so... Yeah, true. I need to get your number one night. Later on, I need to get your telephone number. But, man, if you need my number, so you can get to the article. First, man, you got my telephone number. Thanks for your Trailblazer coaching.
All right, well, maybe that was you I was hearing. The audio was restricted, so that might have been... Maybe it was still warming up. If it's still on, maybe give it a shot in 10 or 20 minutes or so, because I think maybe that was you I was hearing. It just the audio was low and I couldn't tell. But we will grab for radio number 1 the big Browning on the desk there, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III. It's sounding good. We'll see if I can get a shot of it here up on the radio board and go back to you for a transmission.
Very good, Dennis. Anyway, thank you. Yeah, I know the conditions are terrible. You know, it blows my mind that everybody talks in Hawaii, but nobody listens, and I've never understood that. Anyway, Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB, back to you, Dennis.
All right, back to me in the studio. Yeah, I think this is the everybody talks but nobody listens frequency, except on Saturday night's OTR. Our tube radio operators do a good job of talking, and when they do on their great radios such as yours, I try to listen the best I can at 8:50 Pacific Daylight Time, 27085 in Central California and everywhere else at oldtuberadio.net. The Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB has arrived, and it is sounding good. Thanks, Jerry, for getting us started off. And if you get a chance later on, conditions permit, and you want to try the Mark V again, we will be, I'm sorry, the MC5 again. It'd be nice if you had a Mark V. The MC5 again, we will be listening. Over.
safe it'll work. And I appreciate leave the playback.
All right, very good. Getting off to a little bit of a rough start here, but we've only been doing this 31 years, so this isn't our first lots of skip going on. We definitely know how to work this thing, and we will have Tube Radios checking in for you tonight as we enjoy what radio is, the conditions for RF, what you throw up your signal somewhere and down it comes. And hopefully, if you're on a Tube Radio, it will show up here at Old Tube Radio Network tonight. We're standing by.
Got it, 815. All right, 815. We'll do it again.
Conditions for
Mod Squad, Mobile. Take it, 815. Mod Squad, Honolulu gun. And that Roger Mustang right there, right now. I heard you. Mustang, happy Father's Day coming your way. All right, Mustang, good to hear you, my friend. Mustang, Cali Cool Change is gone. Mod Squad, gone.
Yeah, the station calling the Old TR network. We're listening, trying to listen for you. Over. You have to try and talk around the other stations there, but OTR is listening.
Clear. 84.
Okay, I can get that station. We'll give it a try. 84 at 854 on the Old Tube Radio Network, sometimes known as the Cheerios Kid. 84 is good, and we're back to you.
Hey, Trill, Blaze told me to tell you hello. Mustang, I passed the Buffalo. Cool changes.
Now, boy, howdy there, Dennis. We're going to sure try. Pretty noisy out there. We're going to try to check in radio. I haven't checked in for eons, probably over a year. The Gemtronics GTX2300. Just hoping it would still work. And the conditions are horrible, just like you've mentioned several times. 84.
All right, and conditions are a little interesting tonight, considering that QRZ.com is calling for basically no conditions on this frequency tonight. I'll see if I can get to grab a picture of the Gemtronics 2300. We've got a couple of them here. We'll start with that one as we hear the radio. It hasn't been driven around the block for almost a year, but it looks like the gas is still good in the tank. Back to you. Over.
Well, thank you, Dennis, sir. I'm not looking at it live stream here, but I can tell you it's black in color and a brother to Mustang Man. On the top right next to the speaker grill, channel selector, transmit, and RX bulbs. And the meters on the left, gross volume and fine tune. And there is no, I repeat, there is no. He sounded real good, can't be it for 11 Mr. Mustang.
All right. Well, the audio sounds good. It's not over-modulated. Just a lot of other stations sharing the frequency. We got another shot of the Gemtronics GTX 2300, and that is in the, I think the Panasonic, one of the Panasonic clones, like the Robin T123B et al. But as we know, those all have good audio. Gemtronics GTX 2300. It showed up in Sam's CB91. Anybody wants, if got the Sam's CB91, Photofax 91, and wants to find out a little bit more about that. And it looks like oldtuberadio.com has a mic wiring diagram for that thing. So 4 pins in the audio, and sounds like the D104 you have is wired correctly. Back to you for another transmission. We'll keep it kind of short tonight as the conditions change. That might change as well, but thanks for braving the noise and giving us Radio 2 on the Gemtronics on a kind of wild DX evening here in the middle of a 100-degree triple-digit June in Central California. Back to you.
Roger, Dennis. Well, I appreciate it. It's been a long time since I've hooked this thing up, and I wasn't even sure if it was going to work. Actually, even where to set the mic gain on the mic. So just kind of jumped in with both and hang on. Okay, Vince. Thanks for being out there on such a interesting night. But that is something that we're used to you doing. So keep up the good work, my friend. So with that, we'll be standing by for the duration. 84.
Okay, yeah, we are used to doing that. Audio sounds good. I think just if you wanted to, you could probably even boost a little bit. You're definitely not at the top of the range, but it sounds nice, and communication quality. That's a good QSO volume. Maybe for a little noisy time, you could bump it up. But if you don't touch anything, everything will sound good. This is the Old Tube Radio Network, radio number 2 with the Gemtronics GTX 2300. Hello, Bullseye Steve over at oldtuberadio.net, and yes, we are live right now, 27085 AM. We are having some E-skip conditions and some gray line conditions. We are here in the Central California. We're hearing, of course, the Pacific and all over the place. So even though sunspot numbers are low in cycle 24 here, we're still getting some conditions. So if you think you're in our skip zone, what we do is we get here every Saturday night from 8 to 10. We've been doing this for 31 years, believe it or not. And we are listening for, talking with, and talking about the tube radios, the classic vintage vacuum tube radios from about 1958 to 1978. Jerry just brought by his Gemtronics GTX 2300. And whenever possible, we try to pop up a little picture to let our viewers and listeners know what the radio might look like. Sometimes it's the exact radio that our stations are talking on. So anyway, hope you can join us. Listening in is fine at oldtuberadio.net if you can't pick us up on 27085. And I'm going to stop talking so we can pick up some more radios if they're out there. OTR is listening.
I put on you when I can. 93, signing good. Audio junkie, Maui. Bye-bye-bye.
Okay, and Bullseye Steve is in Australia, hearing us live, 27085. So, yeah. Got any stations there that have beams, can point them towards the central coast of the U.S. here, California. And some of the vintage radios, like the tube radios, have them fire up. Get them checked in here. And, of course, you are listening up on the audio stream at oldtuberadio.net, so you can hear conditions changing. I think it's gray line. The sun, as you can see through the window here, the sun is down here in California, and I'm sure it's probably setting in a gray line conditions for Hawaii and heading your way later. So as your gray line conditions happen, we might start hearing the Australian station. So we'll keep an ear out for you guys.
Radio dear. Hello, dear, Mr. 918. I will say hello to you for the weekend time, because you're looking good in 400's garage. Have a good night. I'll see you.
Gray line conditions. I'm going to try the jingle singers again. I think Bozo ran a new cable, but they didn't sound too good the first time around. Let's see how we're doing now.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you, wherever you are. Your favorite spot on the dial by far is known to...
The Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
I guess if they sing long enough, I plug in the right cables, we might hear them from the other studio. That's radio for you. We'll try it again.
Yeah, I appreciate them flowers in 918. 400, I appreciate them flowers and the blessings. Love and aloha right on your way too, my friend. And you have a beautiful evening, dear. God bless you and the family, dear.
Radio for you.
918. 400. I'm cruising in the garage. I'll see you, brother. Aloha.
This is the Old Tube Radio Network. We're standing by for any and all check-ins, whether it's SWL, tube radios, whatever you have, and how brave you might feel as we are trying to get through the Incredibly noisy conditions tonight, but that's radio, and we kind of like it. We'll take reports from any of you guys with the ham tickets that are out there. If 10 meters is up and running tonight, maybe 6 meters. Interesting to see what's happening on conditions. OTR standing by for your radio check-ins.
Bye-bye-bye, these junkies out. Hey, mama. Hey, Tijuana mama, breaker. Hey there, Miss Tijuana mama. On that dear Miss Tijuana mama, aloha to you and the family dear. You tell Tijuana Joe 400 says aloha too, and God bless, and have a beautiful weekend time dear. Miss Tijuana mama, showing up in 400's garage. Aloha to you.
We've got 87 degrees Fahrenheit in the radio room tonight. By the time we sign out of here at 10 o'clock, it might be comfortable enough. Maybe I'll want to do another couple of hours. We will see. OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network, is listening for your radio check-ins.
87 minutes.
Break for Tube Radio Network. Go ahead, over.
Yeah, this is Gallo checking in. Aloha, 918.
Hello, Gallo. Glad you could join us again this week. As you can hear, we are in the midst of some DX conditions, trying to sort things out and listening for radios.
Yeah, it's crazy out there. I'm getting all that skip on my radio right.
Well, that tends to happen on these frequencies, kind of unusual for a low sunspot number. But again, and this time at night, we're kind of working off the E-skip conditions. So we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll get some of the closer in east and south and north states here on the West Coast. OTR standing by for radio check-ins.
On that there, Mr. 918, man. You doing your thing right around Sacramento, my brother. Sounding real good in my garage. Aloha to you. One more time. 918, 400. Sitting in the garage. Aloha to you.
And this is the Old Tube Radio Network, live at 27085 in the Central Valley of California, and also streaming at oldtuberadio.net, listening for your radio check-ins. 085. All right, we're getting short skip now. Getting short California skip. This could be interesting. Where are the tube radios? Where are those classic radios? We'd like to hear from you. Old Tube Radio Network standing by.
Noise in 400's garage. Aloha to ya.
We want to hear from you, Old Tube Radio Network.
Good evening. Take care. Thunderstick, that's all. Oh, hey, Thunderstick. He came in the door, man. He showed up in the garage. Thunderstick, I see ya.
Again, showing up in San Diego stores. Take care, 400.
Hello?
Yes. The sound of the Tweety Bird. Soon to be replaced by the Bullhorn, but an MC5. The Martians are on their way. Okay, that is interesting. Hello, 25. The tone alert, the tone call is 100% modulated. Martians would be proud. However, the actual audio out of the radio is a bit restricted. But I know it's you. We've got Radio 3 at 9:08. I'll grab a shot of the general radio telephone MC5, and we'll go back to you for a transmission of your choice. Over.
Anyway, 25 checking in on the MC5. General Radio Telephone from Burbank, California.
All right, general radio telephone MC5 sounding good. Yeah, it sounds like it might actually be an impedance mismatch then or something. It's a little bit restricted on the audio. The tone alert, tone call is sounding good. So, of course, we will have you do that again. We are showing a picture of the MC5. You will be proud to know that it is from the collection of Paul SWL 45. So you know it is a good-looking radio, and we'll go back to you for another transmission.
Thanks, Dennis. Actually, this one hasn't been on the air for about 8 years, so okay. I'll take a look at the microphone issues, and thank you for checking it in. And one more time, guys, get that control after the Martian.
All right, that has got some good audio. Your 100% Martian tone sounding good. Yeah, it might be an impedance mismatch coming in on the audio side. General Radio Telephone MC5 is the radio. Jerry's at the microphone. That came out from General Radio Telephone in 1962. If you have some old CB catalogs in late 62 or early 1963, no doubt you're going to see some advertisements for that radio. The MC5 was probably their most advertised general radio telephone. It was much like the MC4, but it had a stronger transmitter, and it was the last general with the tone signal, which you heard at the end, sort of, we call it the Martian alert. But that tone signal was the last, the MC5 was the last of the general radio telephones to have the tone signal. The FCC told them to take it out. I think they thought it was causing more interference than, I guess, signaling anybody. And then on the MC6, it was replaced with what was called the Bullhorn. It's a 7-tube radio, believe it or not, and has the capability of running a 12-volt DC or 6-volt DC if you have the right power cable. Sounding good. Thanks, Jerry, for radio number 3 and the Old Tube Radio Network is standing by.
Y'all just take care. Mark squad gone.
Thanks for the Old Tube Radio Network.
The break for the Old Tube Radio Network. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Gallo out here. That MC5.
Yeah, that's from 1962. The original issue on that from General Radio Telephone. They had two series of the Master Control, the MC series, and then they had a VS, or the Vibration Service, which was more of a plain, less frill radio that was intended to be used for mobile or vibration service use. It's amazing how well these radios were built because they sound great from 1962 up here into 2016. We have a lot of great radio operators and collectors that stop by and share their collections with us. We are hoping maybe tonight to grab some stations from out of the area into the skip zone. If you're listening to this broadcast on 27085 and you have one of the classic vacuum tube radios, we'd like for you to key it up and give Old Tube Radio Network a call. We are streaming at oldtuberadio.net if you can't get our audio over the air, and you can listen to us that way. Or if you're listening to us and it's fading away, head over to oldtuberadio.net. We are standing by. And the gray line to the Pacific Islands is starting to fade. I just wonder if the next stop is Australia.
Break OTR.
Or maybe, I don't know, Shields Avenue. Hello, Break OTR, go ahead.
Well, definitely not Australia, but 56 with the tram TR27 Echo.
All right, yeah. Let's get some nice audio on tonight. Sometimes the skip stations in their zeal to be very loud may not have the best audio, as they don't run or mismatch their amplifiers. What anyone who has listened to the Old Tube Radio Network for any time at all will notice is one thing, and that is the great audio that comes through with the radios that check in, and of course this one here is no exception. Give us another transmission on the TR27E, and I'll find a picture of it here for our viewers.
Well, thank you, Dennis. You know, it's all in the tubes.
Yeah, I think that is part of it. The classic microphones as well. The tubes, of course, allow for a lot of headroom in the audio. Our last radio from 1962 was the General Radio Telephone MC5. Let's move up a year to 1963, and you get the offering from Tram. This was their top-of-the-line base station, as was the MC5 for General Radio Telephone. This was the top-of-the-line Tram, a very big radio. As you can see, very large S-meter. I believe this has 23 channels on the receive and the transmit. And we will go back to you for another transmission. Over.
Well, thank you, Dennis. Yeah, it is one of my favorite radios. Simply, the other thing is it's just too darn heavy for me to move out, so it's pretty convenient as well. Back to OTR.
Okay, yeah, I think the average weight of a very small, or the standard size tube radio is probably from 15 to 20 pounds. This is a beast. Probably really easy to work on if you get the thing out of the case. And I'm sure this weighs a little bit more than that. I'm thinking the S-meter, which is as big as some of the transistorized radios today, might weigh a couple pounds all by itself. It's the Tram TR27E, doing a good job here at the Old Tube Radio Network for Radio 4. Thanks for bringing it by. And just a reminder, because there are some skip conditions tonight, if you're hearing this radio transmission, this is the Old Tube Radio Network out of Central California. We are transmitting, I should say, at 27085, and also streaming the audio live at oldtuberadio.net. If you can hear us and you are a radio collector, whether it's 1 or 50 of the classic tube radios, we'd like to see if you can key down and give us a call here at Old Tube Radio Net tonight and tell us what radio you are on that's glowing in the dark. In the meantime, our local stations, or the stations within our RF zone, are doing the same thing. We've had 4 tonight. We're looking for more on the Old Tube Radio Network.
You're making noise right on the water, man. It's looking good in my garage here, but you better watch out for the moon. He's out there doing his thing.
And Phil, you get a thumbs up from Bullseye Steve in Australia, listening in tonight at oldtuberadio.net, who is very impressed with the TR-27E.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, if Mama strolls on by, I'll tell her that Bad Seed was out there looking, man. Hey, Mr. Bad Seed, if I hear Miss Tijuana Mama as she comes strolling by my garage, I'll give it a big old 5 there. Mr. Bad Seed, 400, I'm in the garage. I'll see you.
I'm going to try the Jingle Singers again. They'll tell us about the favorite friendly place to be on a Saturday night.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, the friendliest station for you by far is known to all as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
Crack pipe from God.
The Old
I
Tube...
will tell you this. I love my life. I'm really rich.
Hello, 45, over.
With a Buddy TX11B transmitter.
All right, that is a good choice. The TX11B RC11B combination for an evening like tonight. And it may be a portent of things to come. I hear through the rumor mill that your buddy may not be the only one checking in tonight, but we're glad you got things started off. Radio number 5, the infamous Buddy bass. We'll go back to you, Paul, if you can hear me, and we'll grab a shot of the Buddy radio here.
Yeah, okay. I'll let you know when you get it up there. Anyway, this is what the Hardy would call a baby Buddy. This thing's never been converted to 10 meter or anything. It's stock right out of the factory. So I'm not going to try to say a whole lot, or I'll probably get wiped out. I'm sure they're going to try to get everything over to us. Anyway, that's a VFO which I'm running right now. And this radio is all hand wired. I tell you, it's a beautiful old classic radio. Back to you, Dennis.
Okay, classic radio, and it is a multi-piece radio. It is a 3-piece radio. We have the smaller unit, which is the transmitter, the larger unit, the receiver with the slide rule dial for receive, and then the third piece that you don't even get with Browning is the on-the-air speaker. They separated the speaker out of the receiver and gave you a whole separate enclosure for that with a nice big on-the-air light. I'm showing an advertisement. I do have a shot of the Buddy bass, one of the Buddy basses that Harvey does, and I'm going to switch over to that Harvey has, but it doesn't. It's got a different speaker, so I wanted people to see the original issue, and that is what you got. I know you don't have a speaker like that, but the audio is excellent. Really nice sounding, clear audio. Give us another transmission.
Yeah, okay. Well, Harvey's on his up one. He's got another one too. I'll let him tell you about it. Anyway, that lower picture is a picture like mine.
Striker 101, this is Whiskey Man, the Whiskey Drinker. You out there?
It looks like a large radio, but it's not really that large compared to a Browning. Unless you stack the speaker, like they do, it's not that large. If you run it long ways, it is about that large. Anyway, with 18 tuners.
Striker 101, this is Whiskey Man, the Whiskey Drinker. You out there?
Okay, yeah, I don't have the best photos of it, but I wanted to at least give people an idea that this is a three-piece set combination. You have to get them all connected and wired together for it to work well. It was a coveted radio. There weren't that many around, but it had great audio, and like you said, it had the ability to be, we'll call it strapped, on the transmitter side to give you a little bit extra power. Plus, there was modifications you could make. You could put a larger tube in there. I think they used to put a 6L6 in replace of something. I think it was the 30-watt input you could get out of that thing, so maybe 15 watts out or so. I'm glad you haven't strapped it, because typically, unless you did it correctly, you could mess up the nice audio that we are hearing now. TX11B is the transmitter, RC11B is the receiver, and of course the on-the-air speaker light. Give us another transmission, Paul, and thanks for bringing it by. I think our buddy aficionados tonight, our buddy fans, are going to like this evening.
It's all my pleasure, Dennis. Thanks for being able to listen to it. I may hold it over for a clear night so I can hear it on the replay on the thing. But this thing is really a classic radio. I love it. It's got the crinkle finish on it. That's the way they came out with everything like that. It's just an amazing radio. Okay, thanks for checking it in.
Okay, yeah, sounding good. Paul is probably, 30, 40 miles away from me. So for those listening, you can hear how well the audio is coming through for a signal that is... actually, key up again. I want to see what your S-meter reading is.
Yeah, I got most of that. It wasn't your fault, it was me. Yeah, we're probably, I'd say 40, 50 miles away to your house, which is just about right. And I got a doggone big old mountain right away in my way between here and the city. But I guess without it, I probably wouldn't be able to hear anything. All right. I'm going to try to check another one in here. We'll see how it goes.
All right, it's all in the modulation. I have my RF gain on the receiver set to about an S7. So the noise floor is at S7. When Paul keys the microphone, he's at S8, so it's not that much above the noise, and then the radio modulates to almost 5 over S9. So that's where the power is in the forward modulation and the nice clear audio. We mentioned tonight about sometimes Skipland is a little zealous in getting power but not getting the audio, and here is the type of radio that they probably should be running out there in the mobiles of, sitting on the Pacific Ocean in Hawaii. Thanks for Radio 5, TX11B, RC11B. This is the Old Tube Radio Network. Wanted to mention that we do archive the audio at oldtuberadio.net. So if you'd like to hear a replay of your radio or you miss something, you can go to the top of the page and click on archive and give it about a minute, because that loads all the audio tapes into the OTR magnetophone. Loads our reel-to-reel audio tapes into the OTR magnetophone, and then you'll be able to select a date and whether it's an SWL check-in or a tube radio check-in and listen in the way we heard it here at OTR. And of course, we keep the videos up for a couple of weeks, typically, if you want to watch it that way. We are listening for your glow-in-the-dark radios on the Old Tube Radio Network. For your and we're a little bit behind on the Jingle Singers, so here at 9:26 Pacific Daylight Time here in Central California. Let's see if the Jingle Singers can tell us about the latest style.
You're listening in the latest style at
27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio.
In wonderful
Fresno, California.
And once again, I'm checking the solar numbers over at QRZ.com. Solar Flux Index at 80, which is not bad. They're showing sunspots at 0, nothing heading our way. A of 4, K of 2, and the maximum usual frequency is at 21 megahertz. Actually, it's gone up a little bit, and they're showing the conditions from 17 meters, which is what, 21 megahertz, up through 10 meters, which is 28 megahertz as poor. But that doesn't count in the fact that what we're hearing and have been hearing tonight probably isn't based all that much on the sunspots, but it's based a little bit on atmospherics with E-skip and gray line happening. But anyway, that's what's going on here tonight. We were listening for your glow-in-the-dark radios, the classic radios from 1958 when the Federal Communications Commission banged their gavel and said, we will make a Class D 11-meter citizen radio service. Through about 1979 as 40 channels and solid state was the thing, and the manufacturer said we're not going to manufacture the tube radios, or we're going to convert those radios that are using tubes to solid state devices. So tonight we're reliving the past, sort of like the classic car show at your local hamburger stand, the fins in chrome, the 50s, 60s, and 70s automobiles. These are your 50s, 60s, and 70s radios on the Old Tube Radio Network. And hello, Paul, over.
Okay, I'm taking a chance on this one, Dennis. This is the General Radio telephone, Band 10.
All right, well, this is your take a chance frequency. The radio has a very interesting sound, so we'll talk about radio and microphonium, and I need to get the model number again, see if I've got a video of it here.
Like I said, I'm taking a chance with it. The receive on the thing is pretty rough, and we have any interference, it's pretty rough. But I thought maybe I could make it over with the extra watts on the business app.
Yeah, the transmit is fine. You're coming through full. Well, I wouldn't say full quieting, but quieting enough that I can hear you fine. But I did not get the model of the radio. I did not get the model of General Radio Telephone, over.
Okay, it's a BB-10.
Okay, BB10. And lo and behold, I have some info here. Let's go to an advertisement first for the General Radio Telephone BB10, and the BB being the business band communication. They call it the ultimate and low cost, and there it is. It looks very much like the Vibration Service series. They're showing a price of $189.95. 12-volt DC, 115-volt AC. Give us another transmission, and then I think I may actually have a shot of, courtesy of your photography there, of that very radio. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just give you a cut size so you can hear me down there. This is quite interesting radio. It's got crystal oven, the thing. You have a piece of crystal glamour. That's the crystal oven. It keeps better stability on the thing. It's electronic switching radio. There's a few other good things about it, but I don't know if you can hear me or not. But I'm on the soft side. Back to you.
Okay, yeah, it sounds like a stock mic. It might sound like a, I don't know if it sounds like a carbon element or a ceramic. It's a little more mid-rangey and hollow. Typically, a crystal element has a lot of high frequency in it, isn't it? That has more of a carbon element sound, like the old telephone style. I'm just wondering I don't even see a channel selector on there, so I'm assuming that might be a single channel radio. You just have to pick the crystal of your choice. Over.
Okay, I'm not getting it. It's not your fault. It's radio's fault, and the receiver's pretty bad on it. Anyway, I got it checked in. It'd be interesting to hear what the whole thing sounds like. It's been a long time since I took this one in with you.
Okay, well, it's got a good signal, so it gets a good quieting carrier, and then the audio has what we call that old tube radio flavor. Certainly not amplified, and a small, classic, maybe like a carbon or ceramic microphone. So you will be able to check it out on the archives. Probably made for in the early '60s for businesses, taxis. Companies, Mobile 1 to Base 2 type of thing, which is basically the 11-meter Class D service. It was also used for business purposes like that, or within the same license. So you'd go KEO 8492 Base to Unit 2, and you'd have your wife asking you to go pick up a loaf of bread on the way home from work, and you'd be talking on your BB10. So there it is. Original price $190, which was considered a bargain back in the day. It's Radio 6. Thanks for bringing it by. Over.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Yeah, this has Scott VSF ceramic microphone on it. It's hardwired in, of course, so I wouldn't even try to put on a power mic on the thing. So leave it like it is. Look out, this thing will pick up 12 watts, that key and swings about 25. So I guess operating the 26 to 28 megahertz range is adequate for everything like that. Stops in. Okay, thanks a million, Dennis.
All right, I think what I like about it is it has that classic old tube radio sound. Now, if anybody is trying to get the feel of what we're doing here, we are definitely back in 1962 with the sound of that radio. A General Radio Telephone, the BB10. For their business band. General Radio Telephone, very prolific in making many models, many different models, whether it was base or mobile oriented. And back in the early 60s, of course, there were still a lot of 6-volt automobiles hanging around, so it was very easy to find units that worked off of 6 volts and 12 volts as well. The Old Tube Radio Network, real radios glowing in the dark. We are listening for yours. Thanks, Paul. The break OTR, go ahead. Okay, your audio is a bit weak. If I'm not sure if you're checking in or making a comment, try that again. Over.
1 2 3 1 2 3. No, I lost my audio. Oh, wait a minute. 1 2 3. There it comes back. 56 wishing to check in.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's working. Was that you before? Hang on 1 second, 56. I want to make sure that there wasn't another station. Was there another station calling OTR? Okay, maybe it was just that, because your signal came way up as well. So I think you went from the 100 milliwatt unlicensed version to the 5-watt DC input. You've got Radio 7, Phil. Go ahead. Over.
Okay, well, this is the Burstein Appleby BA23, and before I get it, forget it, I did hear you say the gentleman in Australia appreciated the tram. I want to thank him for that. But this is the Burstein Appleby.
Okay, and it is full functional now. Good signal, good audio, and we've got a shot of it. Up at oldtuberadio.net, we'll pop it into the video, and when I do that, we'll go back to you for a transmission now that it's working, and we'll maybe have a little info about Burstein Appleby and their BA23.
Well, thank you, Dennis. Yeah, I think it's a clone of the Olson manufacturer, if they even manufactured the Olson. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, Burstein Appleby was one of the predecessors to the Radio Shack type businesses in the Midwest.
Okay, I've got a full shot there. Yeah, because it was a Spotter 23, I think, from Olson, where they had the 2-dial controls, one for the transmit and the receive up on the same panel, and I believe they have an external crystal socket as well. You may have told me, but I was probably writing down some numbers here on the type of microphone you're using with that. Over.
It's a non-amplified D104.
Okay, and it's doing a good job. Doesn't sound like it's amplified, and really doesn't need to be. A lot of these radios with the tube finals and the tube audio section could be amplified and sound quite loud and not get the distortion or clipping that the transistor radios did. And of course, this was a lot of these radios were before the FCC mandated use of modulation clippers and compressors and things like that to keep stations from doing just that, putting on an amplified microphone and over-modulating. So that's why oftentimes the audio sounds nice and clear, even when it's loud on these radios as well. Give us another transmission on the BA-23. It's working well, so we will try not to upset it tonight, but we're glad you brought it by for Radio 7. Back to you.
Well, thanks again, Dennis. Yeah, I had to upset it a little bit for it to start working. Anyway, thanks again. Back to OTR.
Yeah, what do they call it? The friendly tap on the side of the case often works well for these tube radios. Bullseye Steve, still listening in from Australia. We were trying to see if we couldn't get some gray line conditions out that way, but seems like the band has quieted down just a bit. But we will see what happens. We do this every Saturday, starting at 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. We go for a couple of hours or until we run out of sufficient radios. Of course, the shortwave listeners check into the beginning, and we have been doing this on 27085 for 31 years, and only just recently on the digital side, but we're glad to have stations that may not be able to pick us up on the RF side at 27085 tuning and listening in with their comments and pictures, which you can post up at our Facebook page. It's accessible at oldtuberadio.net. So if you got photos of your collections, go ahead and post them up at the Facebook page, Old Tube Radio Network. We are standing by. And I'm going through the water tonight like it might have been 105 degrees today. What about that? And 45, working the radio room. It must be not hot, too hot in there. This will be Radio 3. Go ahead, Paul.
I tell you, Dennis, it's probably 10 degrees or so cooler than you are. It wasn't bad today. I didn't think up here at all. Anyway, I got my other business band radio. I wanted to check into the general radio telephone BB30.
Okay, let's go back to our friends in beautiful downtown Burbank, General Radio Telephone. And again, we talked about the fact that a lot of people who got their license for Citizen Band were running businesses and needed some communications, point-to-point, mobile to base, and this worked quite well. Paul, I believe we were featuring this particular radio sometime during the week on the site, so we'll pop it back up again because the BB30 is a beautiful radio, and we'll go back to you for a transmission.
Yeah, they put a stamp face front of the thing, and geez, it looks a lot. Actually, it is. The way it's set up there, it is really nice looking. You know, it's simple, but it still looks real good. It's doing the job. I'm not using the stock mic on the thing. It likes this Turner microphone a lot better than it. I don't know why, but it does. The original microphone thing was like the ones that came out on the 9, the big, heavy-duty aluminum, polished aluminum or whatever they are, microphone. So anyway, now this thing puts out 25 watts, and it swings quite a bit more than that.
So it's definitely a super business radio. I just has the two channels. I only got the one channel 11 in the thing, but it'll run about the same frequency as a BB10 did. It does real good. And this thing's got that expensive ECLL 800 tube. So that's it. Not sure. I'll let you finish it off there.
Okay, and this has more of a look like the Master Control series, or maybe just the Master Control with the different front and the rack handles. These radios became popular to some operators for the fact, and what you mentioned is that they were somewhat easily modifiable to change that 5-watt DC input to a 30-watt DC input, and thereby taking the 3.5-watt output carrier up to maybe about 15 watts or so, and give you a little advantage, especially when we have conditions like we had this afternoon with the skip. This was from 1965, so we're moving up in the timeline a little bit. The General Radio Telephone BB30 was a 9-tube, so 2 more tubes than the MC5, and a 25-watt RF output business band radio. As you said, it had 2 channels. And let's see, the business band, there actually was a business channel, and that was 27420. General Radio Telephone was really good about getting those strange crystal frequencies for like Civil Air Patrol, which is down in 26 megahertz range, and the business channel, the official business channel at the time, which was 27420. And as you mentioned, the real big, or the real tall ECLL 800 tube, giving it some nice output. Anyway, let me stop talking and let's hear some more from the General Radio Telephone BB30. Over.
Okay, I'm running my Turner M+2 and my Golden Strike. It seems to like it better than any of them. Not over-modulating much. It looks like it's swinging right about 100%. I'm sure you probably verify that. And other than that, I'll tell you what, it's just a real nice radio. It's really clean. I wish we'd had one from Harvey and with his too. He's got one just like it. It's been fun. But I haven't heard him other night. Has he been on today?
He was on earlier. It was very warm in his Radio Shack. He had been doing some testing and peeking and tweaking on a radio that he was pleased with the outcome. And he said that probably near the end of the program here tonight, which is coming up in about 15 minutes, he would jump in, hopefully a cooler Radio Shack, and give us the Watt 4. The lowdown on the radio, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, your radio number 8, sounding really good. I took a look at the S meter. You're about an S8. My noise floor is at S7, so you're just barely above the noise floor. But where this radio shines is in the clear audio and the nice mid-range and high frequency accentuation that is making it sound much stronger than it's showing up on the S meter. So a good job done by General Radio Telephone, and a very pretty radio. Not real fancy with lots of knobs and things, but very well, nicely laid out, and I'm sure it looks great in the shack. It's the BB30, BB being their business band version, and this is back from 1965. Give us another transmission, and thanks for bringing it by.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I really do like the radio, like all of them. Now, I'm looking forward to hearing Harvey, because I know what he's going to be checking in, and I heard it the other day, and I want to hear it again, so I hope he's listening, and we'll check the thing in. Thanks a million, Dennis, again, for checking in my radios. I appreciate it very much. And by the way, you sound super tonight after the mini rest. Run it down. All right. Talk to you later. Thanks.
Yeah, it's amazing how conditions come and go, and how they will change and favor just a point-to-point. We were hearing Hawaii talk to San Diego, and we were actually hearing the San Diego station a couple times, so the band was wide open there on the E-skip conditions. Speaking about wide open, I see the studio doors. I think that's it. Yeah, over in the other studio, the Jingle Singers are ready to tell us about the magic on a Saturday night.
What are the magic numbers?
27.085 megahertz, channel 11.
Are the magic letters?
OTR.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Radio Magic
Old Tube Radio.
for you.
And a reminder, we are still taking SWL check-ins, of course, as we always do. So if you were trying to get in earlier at the beginning of the net when we were having Super DX conditions and I couldn't hear you, now is a great time to pop in with your SWL number. We'll get you checked in.
75.
Like that guy right there. And of course, I said all this and I forgot to bring out the SWL papers to the top, which I will do. And of course, page 3 is right there. And we will put in the X in the square for Mr. Patrick. Good evening, Mr. Scrambler. I hope you are trying to stay cool this evening, over.
Yes, I am. This week, and I hope all the FWLs out there have been able to find a cool spot to hide in.
Yeah, we've got Scooter the Radio Cat down here is down on the floor. I think it's cooler down there. That's where I should be. I should be just sitting on the floor. Maybe it won't be. It'll be less than 87 degrees. You are sounding good tonight. I'm glad you poked into your radio room, fired up your favorite Saturday night place to be, as you know, Channel 11, and waved a hand not only to all of us here at Channel 11, but those across the Universal Media Netweb at oldtuberadio.net. Over.
All right. Thank you there. You got SWL 75.
All right. Thanks for checking in, Scrambler, and we are standing by for any and all check-ins in the Old Tube Radio Network.
Break OTR.
And while we're in the 70s, I wish we were in the 70s, at least in the temperature down here. Break OTR, go ahead.
Oh, those were different times. Different times, weren't they? 70 checking in late. Thank you very much, Dennis.
Okay, not a problem. Good timing. I think when I called you, it was 20 over with Mod Squad sitting at the Pacific Ocean. So I hear you just fine now, over.
Very good. I'm sad to hear that I missed Mod Squad and that stuff. We were actually trying to cool down a little bit and watching the hockey game. That was fun.
Hockey, they play that on ice, don't they?
Yes, they do. It was in San Jose, and I think they're having a hard time keeping it cool.
Okay, the Zamboni is working overtime, or maybe it's not working at all, or it can't work at all. All right, you are sounding good, and we have you checked in. Thanks for stopping by here at OTR.
Thank you, Dennis. Break OTR.
And the break OTR, way out from the west side, where the sun always shines in triple-digit weather. Hello, radio.
Hello, Dennis. See what the temperature is. Oh, did it go down? Oh, it's only 83 in here now. That's pretty good. Okay. This is that radio. The one I just acquired a little while ago. This is the Buddy TX11.
All right, Buddy TX11. I don't have, we have it listed at oldtuberadio.com, but I don't have a photo of an actual TX11. So what I'm going to do, just to kind of get us in the mood here, I'm going to pop up your RC11B, TX11B collection that has the interesting large speaker. And that's what we'll leave up unless I get a better representation. And we'll rely on you to tell us what the TX11 is as opposed to the 11B. And maybe the difference between where it was last week when we heard about it and where it is this week when we're now hearing from it. Over.
Okay. Well, where it is now is working. The TX11, RC11, earlier than the TX11B, RC11B, the RC11 looks basically the same as the the RC11B, except it's a gold anodized front instead of black, and black printing instead of white. It does not have the on-the-air speaker box. It just has an external speaker box. So it's internally different. Plus the squelch control is totally different. It uses a relay to activate the squelch. And I'll unkey for a second, then I'll talk about the transmitter.
Okay, and it sounds excellent. I hope you get a chance to dial in the archives. Just really nice, crystal clear audio.
Okay, well, appreciate that. Receiver works pretty darn well. Same tube complement as the early model RC11Bs. Has the, quote, bad squelch tube, but with this relay in there, it seems to be working. The squelch functions just fine. With the relay activated, cuts out the squelch, and I think that helps the squelch control, wherein the RC11B with the older tube, the squelch control would eventually burn up. Okay, the transmitter looks somewhat like the TX11B, only these radios came with 3 different transmitters, a 6-channel, a 12-channel, and they might have had a 23-channel TX11. I'm not sure of that. They did have an outboard crystal box that you could plug in. Now, I have the 6-channel transmitter. The 6th position is an external socket on the front where I imagine the external crystal box would be plugged in. Something like that, I guess. Basically looks the same, except the meter isn't backlit. It's the same as Paul's TX11B early model transmitter. Does have 23 channels, but it had a light bulb mounted to the right of the meter that stuck out and illuminated the meter. My radio's got the same thing. I thought that was something that somebody did on his, but no, it apparently is factory. And I also have the smaller tubes as Paul in his. I have a 6AQ5 modulator, and in place of the 6CL6 final that Paul used, 6360 final, still a smaller tube, but we'll say an industrial substitution of the 6CL6. Radio does have which I'll try next time. 400, I'm sitting in the garage.
Okay, well, we're starting to get a little e-skip coming in with you there, where we got most of the transmission. And I found a photo of an RC11, so we've got that up now. And I think you said you had the combination, the TX11, the RC11, but the description of differences, which are, well, I want to say it at some point minimal, but I mean, when you start changing tubes or swapping tubes, that may not be as minimal as you'd like. It's still sounding good. That is the sound I remember on a Buddy bass, that clear, crisp audio coming out that fills up the carrier, and this is doing it well. So hopefully you did not have to lose much sleep over this one and getting it up and running from last week, although I think you were very close last week. So it's doing quite nicely, and I think you will probably want to keep this one on the shelf close to the Brownings. Over. Yeah, it's there now. Now the heterodyne is underneath you, so we can hear the frequency change on the transmitter. Over.
Mobile stations.
Okay. This model is from on the front of the transmitter below the microphone plug-in. It says Marina Communications, Los Angeles. On the back, it's got the typical buddy serial number setup on the back, but it says Marina Communications, Culver City. So, a little bit different. It's serial number 270 on the transmitter. The receiver doesn't have the same Marina Communications ID printing on the back. In the upper it's just got the number 91. The speaker box does not have anything on it. Now, I sent an email picture to Rob, I believe. So, I hope he got it. I sent it 2 different ways. It's a picture and a description of this radio. So, hopefully, if he looks through it, and maybe he can put it up on the OTR website there.
400's radio run.
Okay, I don't think it was up just yet, but I'm sure he will get around to that, and probably be one of our better shots of the Buddy series. Yeah, I can hear it. It reminds me a lot of Kevin's, and I wonder if he had a TX11. I thought it was you can hear it key down, kind of dip down in frequency, level out, and then start, I guess, going back up. I didn't follow it, so maybe it's going up and down. But anyways, you can start to hear it sliding in and out, and that is very typical of a lot of the buddies that have come in, and it's just a slight rise. But if you keep transmitting long enough, I think it peaks out somewhere. It starts increasing frequency slower and slower. But the boost helped. The audio is just nice and clear. Comparatively, I don't know. I know the transmitters are the thing that you want in that radio. That's got a very, very nice transmitter. On the receiver side, I'm not sure how it might compare with a Browning or a Tram, but the transmitter is certainly up there with both of those.
Oh yeah, this starts out at 084.3 and slides up. Little level off. On the high side, it starts low and then levels off at about 085.1. On the low side, it starts out at about 084.7 or so, and then slides up to 085.3 or 4. Anyway, I'm used to that. All the buddies that I have today. It has a Night Eagle microphone wired to it. Didn't come with it. Just happened to have the mic, and I wired it to this. Those Night Eagle, they are black with the gold microphone screen and gold grip to talk and push to talk bar. So it just matches the radio. And I've got that. I could put, and I might put, a Turner Custom Special 1 wanted to blow up, and one inductor coil started to arc, so I had to repair it. I don't know how long. Looking for another one. But high side, this does about 18 to 30. And on the low side, it does about 3 to about 8 or 9. If I tuned it high, the low wouldn't oscillate. properly. If I tuned it best on low, it wouldn't oscillate. The value changed enough so it won't work for both. But on the high side, when maxed out, it'll do about 20 to 40. And on low, the value should do about 20. My happy medium, and it seems to be holding. Very simple.
All right, and hello, Chris. For those listening in, I was popping in between upper and lower sideband and AM as the other stations trying to null out the carriers and the interference, because you got good enough audio that if I click over to sideband, it'll help out on the transmit side. So, all right, well, you have become one and spent quite a lot of time on that radio, and we're pleased to spend a lot of time discussing it here and getting it on the radio. I know Paul, who I don't know if you heard earlier, checked in the TX11B, RC11B, and kind of whetted our appetite for your key down on the new Buddy. So that was I think it was a good find. You should be pleased when you hear the audio, minus the interference that we're getting from the eSkip. That I think you don't have. At least on the transmitter side, you don't have much more of anything that you need to do. The radio is sounding the way it was intended to sound when it came out of the factory. Over.
Okay, Chris wanted to get in there, so I'll stand by.
All right, we are talking with Harvey, who has been, for the past week or so, couple of days, working on his Buddy bass combination, and you have been hearing the fruits of his labor, bringing it back up to, I guess, the specs and factory conditions and beyond factory conditions as it might have left the factory out of there in Southern California. I wonder if all the Buddies I heard when I was in the 70s, in my CB heyday down there in Southern California, were out of the Marina Communications. I didn't hear that many. There was just two guys, I think, that had Buddy basses, and they were all super modified with the 6L6s, and that was one of the radios that, that's the one you want to get if you want to be loud and not do much. Thanks for Radio 9, and we'll talk more. Very good work, and as always, Harvey, which your knowledge of what's going on and the background is always interesting. Not only to me, but to our SW Wells, I'm sure. We have stations listening in from Mexico. Hello, Monterrey, Mexico. It's been a long time since you have been dialed in. We are still here, of course, the Old Tube Radio Network, doing what we do best, which is listening to our collectors. Bolivia was listening in, and still a station in from Australia tonight, enjoying the items. Chris, thanks for being patient there, and you're going to put us into triple digits on the radio. Over to you.
Okay, and I know somebody that lives down there in Monterrey, Mexico. A guy named by Eliberto. I used to work with him here in Fresno. His family lives there and everything. But anyway, this is me. That's right, me. I am checking in on my general radio telephone, the Super MC11A. The 24-channel model that glows in the dark. And we're also running a handheld stock microphone. And I had to say one thing. The more Harvey talked to that radio, the louder and better it was sounding. But that's my opinion. Anyway, general.
All right. And I might say the same thing of your general. The more you talk on it, the louder and better it sounds. But it starts out sounding really good. So I don't know if it can improve much more than it does on the initial key down. Radio 10, we're talking to it right now. That's Chris on his Super MC11A. And the general radio telephones have been doing pretty good tonight. We've been focusing, Paul has been helping us to focus on the business side, the BB versions. Jerry SWL25 keyed down on the MC5 to from 1962-63 to give us the tone alert. And here we are, I guess, in the early 70s with the Super MC11A as they've culminated all their little special items and tubes and knobs together in one of their final offerings, not the final, but one of the close to final offerings, and they definitely had it down in a good mode of operation. Over to you.
Oh, hey. Well, no, I just wanted to get this one in here. I've got another one over here warming up right about this time. So I'll go ahead and get out of here and try to get another one there before you get out of here. And you know, last week didn't we come up with the Generals last week also?
I think so. I'm not saying that the Generals are going to be the most heard radio tonight, but we have had a few keying in. All right, thanks, Chris. It's sounding good. I'll let you head over to the coax switch. The jingle singers are reminding me that the hour is getting late, and that they get paid. They get paid by the jingle. So with that in mind, maybe they can help us with a little spelling bee here to remind us where we're at.
Let's do some spelling.
OTR.
Let's do some adding.
27.085 megahertz.
What do they amount to?
Channel 11, Old Tube Radio. Old Tube Radio.
Yeah, we love those old tube radios. And break OTR.
Okay, hang on one, Chris, and hello, Harvey, over.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to have one of those 4-pin Amphenol gold plugs that Regency put on their Imperial 2s, hand mics and desk mics. So I found it and put it on this. So it's the black and gold mic with the gold mic plugs. So it's all kind of matching thing there. Anyway, turn it back to you and let Chris get another one in.
Okay, and he's got, I think, his final radio of the evening. Oh, you brought up that R word, Regency. I have the Imperial, not the Imperial 2. I didn't realize I had a gold microphone. The 2, what was it? The 2 was green, I thought, wasn't it? They changed something on the 2, but I'm sure we'll look at on the regular Regency Imperial. I may have to talk to you. We have to see if we can get that Regency going. And basically, the Regency has just got the crystal problems. I may have a parts range gain to get channel 11 fired up, because that was the original radio that I worked ever so long ago doing net control on the Regency. I don't know. I think it's got an audio output. See, the problem these days is I have to have a radio with a nice audio output so I can feed the audio stream and work it that way. So we'll put that on the list. Because that Regency is just a very, very nice transmitter radio with the double sideband suppressed carrier. All right, let's continue on, as we need to get out before the next wave of skip comes through. And Chris has warmed up yet another radio for us. So Radio 11 it is. Over to you, 37.
Thank you, Dennis. This, as you said, this is Chris SWL 37 again. This time of year, we're going to check in the blue radio. That's right, the blue one. It's the G PowerMate by Jim Marine Products, 23-channel tube that glows in the dark. This one here, we're running with the amplified D104 Raleigh pump microphone with this one here, and it seems to be working. I see the needles going that way, and the blinker lights over there let me know I'm transmitting. Well, it's not blinking, but the little thing next to it swinging back and forth, so I know I'm getting out somewhat. So anyway, I think it's working, Dennis.
It is working quite well. We will make it radio number 11 on the list tonight. Nice, loud audio, good fidelity, and a pretty neat looking radio as we take a look at, if you're watching the YouTube live stream or over at oldtuberadio.net, there it is, the blue machine. You can see the blue surround on the front of the case, and that goes back. That's not just a surround color. That goes back through the whole case, I believe. It's on channel 11, and so is Chris, so let's take another transmission.
And you are exactly right. We are on channel 11, 27.085 on your radio dial, as they say. But yes, it seems to be working quite well for me tonight, and anyway, I just wanted to get in there and check this in, and I don't know how long you'll be there, but I got to turn a switch on down here as soon as I unkey this.
Okay. Well, the Jingle Singers want to come in one more time. Hey, we're down to 86 degrees, so we're feeling good here as we wrap it up.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11,
right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us
Old Tube Radio.
and be modern.
All right, last call for radio check-ins, SWLs, what have you here on the Old Tube Radio Network.
Could you give me 2 minutes?
All right, well, I got to count them out, so that might work.
How about this one?
We could do that one. I didn't mention it, and each time I was going to mention it, but you probably know this because you could probably hear it. The Buddy bass has its own little chirp to it, but it's not as sweet sounding as that one there. Over.
Oh, yeah. And I did play with this one with the capacitor and trying to get it to make a ping. And it will kind of do that. It's just more of the Buddy buzzard sound. It's not quite like this. The circuitry is close enough to do it, but not quite like this. Anyway, this is the Browning Golden Beagle R68T68 from Browning Laboratories. My usual. I generally turn this on no matter what else I might have on because I like this one.
And of course, we like it too. It's Radio 12. Yeah, not all Buddies. Back to the Buddies. Not all Buddies. I don't think Phil's did. I remember Kevin's did not. But occasionally you get a chirp on him. But I tell you, although that your TX11 just really reminds me of the way his would go up and down on frequency on the key up. The Browning Golden R68 T68. If you got to have a favorite radio, right? If you have one, you know what your favorite radio is. You've got one radio in your collection. If you have 21 radios in your collection, then you might have a couple of favorites, but there's probably one, like you said, that gets turned on every week. And there it is, Browning Golden Eagle R68 T60. That is the original. I think if you were to talk to the aficionados at Browning, they would say that's the official Golden Eagle. The one, when we put out the advertisement, the first one that had the word Golden Eagle and the Flying Eagle logo. There were two series, the Series 1 and the Series 2. The Series 1 transmitter had the spotlight and had availability for a cabinet to go around the both the transmitter and receiver and a external speaker as well. All right, over to you for transmission. I think we probably have Radio 13 standing by, but first let me let you sign out of there.
Oh, yeah. I have the Series 2. The, the normal distance and local switch for the RF gain. I don't know why they went to that, but they did. And it works just fine. And we have the fixed and manual switch. Fixed used to put it onto one channel on the receive, and you pick your channel using a screwdriver lock set little slot underneath the channel selector in the receiver, and you just move that as you would tunable receive until you tune to the channel you wanted. That's what that was for. Well, in this radio, when you're on manual, and when you go to fixed, that has been set up so that you tune the lock set so that channel 1 becomes channel 28, let's say, and then you go all the way along. So Nice little box picture someone put in. You can't see it. You don't know it's there until you tune to it and go, oh, look what they did. So it's pretty nice there. Anyway, back to you and stand by.
All right. Well, good information to know. And I just wonder if there were some, back in the day, if somebody actually went out and when the Series 2 came up, they went and traded and sold off their Series 1 to get that lighted on the air light. And just, keep up with the newest items. All right. The E-Skip is floating in. Just want to remind people that this is the Old Tube Radio Network. Real radio's glowing in the dark. We're at 27085 in the Central Valley of California. We are also streaming live at oldtuberadio.net. And we do this every Saturday beginning at 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And we also always welcome anyone that has a vintage classic vacuum tube radio from about 1958 to 1978 to key down any time and call for net control, as this station is about to do. Over.
And this is my oldest radio?
I know which one that is. Over.
Okay, you know which one this is? Okay. Well, this here's my oldest one back in the 60s. I'm going to check in my Citizens Little Phone, the Helicopters model CB3A. This is a, 8-channel? Yeah, 8-channel receiver transmitter with the handheld original stock carbon type microphone that I am speaking into, and I see things wiggling up here on my other meters, because that one has no meters. It just has a little light down here that stays one color when I key up, I think. Let's see. Yes, when I key up only. But yes, it shows that it is working that way. And yes, it's fine. It's doing it.
All right, keying up, keying down, sounding good. We've got a shot. This is Cliff's radio we're showing, but he's got the microphonium right up there at the top, and that is the carbon radio sound. We've had a couple of original. What does Phil call them? OEM microphones on radios tonight, and this one is no exception. From Helicrafters, I'm going to put this at 1963. So we've had a lot of 62, 63 radios tonight. As Citizen Band was becoming, in its, fifth year, becoming very popular. People were starting to use it for not only for business communications, but for hobby communications, which it wasn't intended to be. But the manufacturers kind of got an idea that that's what was happening. And as we have seen, they started putting features and items to make it a little bit more user-friendly and a little bit more, my radio is bigger and better than your radio, which, as you know, always makes you want to go out and buy something new. 7 tubes. Give us another transmission on Radio 13, probably our last radio of the evening.
Hey, well, for 7 tubes, I'm amazed what comes out of this thing. It is really astonishing what comes out with 7 tubes. I've got radios here with more tubes. I don't know if it does as much as this one does times not. Hey, I'm not knocking it. It's working.
And it's working quite nicely, I might add. Thanks for jumping in the Radio Shack and giving us a few of the collection tonight, getting us into the double digits on the radios. We like that. Thanks on that. And I think I see the OTR Orchestra at the ready.
Okay, well, thank you, Dennis. I'm out, and you do what you got to do over there, and we'll be out here doing what we got to do. Listen.
Right. This is the do what you've got to do frequency. Any other check-ins? I know we missed some SWLs due to the skip. Anybody wanting to check in before we sign out here tonight?
He's doing a hell of a job.
Okay. And the E-skip coming in. I wonder where it's from. If you're listening 006 out there in Arizona, we got you checked in. And feel bad that we never made our gray line to Australia, because we had a couple of listeners over at oldtuberadio.net that were waiting to get in. Of course, why we can never hear Tennessee, I don't know, because Robert's got at least a dozen radios that he could probably get going, and we just can't make the long haul for that. But we will see. You just never know as cycle 24 goes away. And when they say the maximum usable frequency is at 19 megahertz and we're roaring in at 27, we'll show them. Do I have the studio doors open? Yes, I do. And if we did that, we might get this.
Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the current OTR totals.
The current and final totals as we wrap up. As we wrap up an old tube radio kind of evening. 86 degrees in the Radio Shack tonight. I have a feeling it's maybe less than that outside, so when I turn off all the equipment here, it might cool things down a bit. I don't know what the official temperature got. I was outside most of the day, so it was at least 103 to 105, I think. We're doing a live radio broadcast of the FM station underneath one of those little pop-up tent things, and kept the sun off of us, but still a little bit toasty out there. On the SWL side tonight, we had 12 checking in on page 1, 17 on page 2, 12 on page 3, and 17 on page 4 for a total of 58. We didn't add anybody new tonight. Next week is week 8. A lot of stations with 7 in a row, so check in next week, and that'll put you into the 00 running there. Bob is 53 is doing a good job so far this week. Our radios, we had a total of 13. We had some e-skip conditions, but didn't get any long-distance check-in. We have a lot of you listening over at oldtuberadio.net, and we appreciate that. Hopefully, you have some great collections that we might hear. But better yet, you can, if you've got some photos, you can upload them to our Facebook page, which you can access at the top of oldtuberadio.net by clicking on the Facebook link, or go to oldtuberadio.net and check us out that way. The most heard manufacturer tonight turned out to be General Radio Telephones. The Brownings were coming up fast at the end, but we had some interesting GRTs, and we'll tell you about those. The Browning Golden Eagle Mark III was our first radio of the evening from SWL 25. Good to hear the Mark III in there. The Gemtronics GTX 2300 from Cheerios Kid hasn't been on the air in a while, and doing a nice job for Radio 2. Radio 3, the General Radio Telephone MC5, SWL 25, giving us the tone signal, which actually had way better modulation than the microphone. He had to put a standby microphone on that, but still sounded good. It's in the archives if you want to hear it. Tram TR27E, trying to get some good audio. Let Skipland know what the audio is supposed to sound like when you do it correctly. Thanks, Phil. Always a treat to hear the Tram ready for Radio 4. Paul on his Buddy TX11B RC11B combination. Paul, I hope you were listening when Harvey keyed up the TX11 RC11, and you can hear what great audio that has. Thanks for Radio 5. Radio 6 also, Mr. Falcon on his General Radio Telephone BB10, the earlier version of the business band that looks more like the Vibration Service series. That was followed by Phil on his Burstein Appleby BA23 for Radio 7. Radio 4 was the next version of the business band radio from General Radio Telephone, and that was Paul's BB30 that looks more like the Master Control series. Radio number 9, Harvey with the infamous TX11 RC11 combination, all dusted and tweaked and peaked and ready for prime time, and it was. Thanks, Harvey. It's sounding good. I hope you can hear the audio archives. Chris in the Shack, Radio 10 and 11 on the General Radio Telephone Super MC11A, the Gem Marine Products G PowerMate. Harvey sneaking in the Golden Eagle, well, not sneaking in. He doesn't sneak. He keys down and it's there. The R68, T68, and Chris to tie things up here with Radio 13 and the Holocrafters CB3A. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Thanks to SearchLawrence.com that keeps us running on the digital side. And thanks to you, especially for your shortwave listening abilities and your abilities to share your tube radio collections with us every week, starting at 8 p.m. 27085 oldtuberadio.net. The archives will be up soon. The OTR magnetophone, give it a chance to load. It's got a lot of audio tapes that it has to queue up, and away you go for listening to your favorite radio. 73, everybody. We'll talk to you next time. Stay cool. Stay out of the heat if you can, unless you're sitting next to an old tube radio network, and then that's the kind of good heat. We'll catch you later.
Dennis, what was Gary's numbers, 006 in Arizona? Does he go by 006 in OTR?
Well, he goes by 006. I'm not sure what his SWL number used to be, but we'll call him 006. He said he could hear us tonight.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good then. So I was gonna say next time if you can't hear him or whatnot, I'm gonna call him up that way he can talk live on air.
Okay, yeah, the old phone patch. Jerry probably, I think, got an email from him, and he said that. Gary said that he was actually hearing us out of Arizona, and for a while there, we were getting really short skip, like out of San Diego, and we were getting the long haul stuff as well. So, interesting conditions tonight. All right, I'm going to cool things down here. We're going to say goodnight on the video side. Those at YouTube and those listening to the audio stream, check your Universal Media Net web devices, and that 6L6 will soon be unglowing, and you'll be able to put your finger on there and touch it without getting hurt. 73, everybody.
Dennis, before you go?
This is the basic Dennis. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was trying to remember. Last week there was mention of a yard sale with some tube-type equipment being offered, and I didn't remember. Was that today or was that going to be tomorrow, if you recall? Over.
All right, a most excellent question at a most excellent time, and I just happen to have the paperwork here, and if you're listening... Steve, my apologies for not reminding people of that. It's going to be June 18th. June 18th. It's the Adeline block sale, so that's not too far from where you're at. And he will have all sorts of goodie items there and electronic items as well. As he said, I think maybe some radios and test equipment. And it's the block sale at Adeline. And 2912 North is, I think, the specific address there for those particular items on, I'm assuming that's Saturday. You have to check the calendar, but it's June 18th. So there is still time. Over.
Thank you, Dennis. I appreciate that.
Can I wave the hand? Can I wave the hand? Can I?
And you're doing your thing. Good luck, Dennis. Thank you very much. Have patience for all of us.
Looking good in my cover.
Okay, man, it's like somebody turned on the skip switch again. All right, oldtuberadio.net. I may leave the stream up just for a couple of minutes if you're listening in and would like to check your audio, do the video gate or do the water gate or whatever you call it. Oldtuberadio.net will leave the live stream up here in Central California so you can check your audio and check your tubes. In the meantime, we'll be out of the shack for a little bit. This is the Old Tube Radio Network, 73.